Hey everyone, this is Matt with Learn Everything About Design, and in today's video we're going to be doing episode 6 of our GPZ series. Now this is going to be our shock clamp episode, and just like with all the other episodes, what we're going to do is in this video we'll go over what we're doing, why and how, and then we'll have a follow-up video that goes through the modeling process so you can design the same part for yourself. Keep in mind that this video will come out after our tail section video, but as you can see, parts in the background, the tail section is curing, which means that we're just kind of filming them a little bit out of order. But in this video, we're going to focus on creating a clamp that will go on 1/2-inch DOM tube, which is what I built the subframe out of, and clamp the reservoir for the Fox shock that's on this bike. So that's what we're doing it. Why we're doing it is because the shock itself, or the reservoir, doesn't have any way to be supported. Now, when I first put this shock on the bike in its stock form, basically the kit came with just some clamps and you just strapped it onto the subframe. Over the years, I built different ones. I CNC machined a clamp holder that worked pretty well, that went with the stock subframe, but unfortunately I cut all the stock subframe off. So I needed something that would clamp on and hold it, and I'm doing it in a slightly different position, trying to get everything inboard so that that's tucked up and out of the way. So how we're doing it is pretty simple. We don't need any fancy equipment. We don't need a scanner. We don't need to really dive deep in, because really at the core of it, all we need to do is measure the tubing that we're clamping to and the reservoir, and it's pretty straightforward. Now we do have to know a bit about the space that we're working with, and if you want a 3D scan, that's perfectly fine. But in most cases, for something like this, all we really need to do is understand those two diameters, and then also how close we want that reservoir to be to the tube itself. So the process of it's pretty straightforward, but like with anything, you go through a handful of revisions. So the first version of this was pretty straightforward. It was just a solid piece. I actually printed it solid. There's no infill in this. And this is Hyper PLA. We incorporated 2 nuts, and the nuts basically are the same size, and then we have 2 different size or different length bolts that clamp it together. So the mechanism here is that there's a bolt between the 2 diameters, one that will really clamp on the shock reservoir, and then the other one clamps onto the DOM tubing. And this allows me to rotate it around different positions. I can either put the reservoir up higher, closer to the tail section, or swing it down low. Since there's no air box on this bike, there's no big battery or fuse box or anything that has to sit in that area like it did originally, we've got plenty of flexibility. But after I did this one and I printed it out, I thought to myself, well, maybe I should just print it in PLA CF. So I've got different materials. The default PLA and Hyper PLA doesn't have quite the same temperature, mechanical properties. So I printed it out of PLA CF. And then I thought to myself, why is it so heavy? Why do we need so much material in these certain areas? So then the next revisions came by creating a lighter weight version. So not a lightweight version, but basically in the areas we didn't need extra material, I removed it and took it out. Now in the video where we walk through how to do this, we're not going to go through doing that recess. I will provide the file, so you can go to the description of that video and you'll be able to see that file if you want to play around with it. But these are just kind of little revisions that happen after you end up making a part. Maybe you see how it could work a slightly different way. So the final version of it is PLA CF with some of these sort of light weighting revisions where we've removed extra material. Now, the main thing with this is the shock reservoir can slide in from the outside, so there's not really any problem with that. But the whole thing does need to flex open like a clamshell to be able to get over to over that DOM tube. So the gap that we leave here and the amount of material on the backside, those are kind of critical features. So you need to know how much your material can flex. So if you're using an ASA or an ABS or a PETG or something like that, you need to be aware of how much you can get away with flexing. And I ended up printing this just full without any infill because, especially in this last iteration, the infill would have only really been around where the bolts are clamping. And I didn't really love the idea of that actually having less material in it. So I just printed it at 100% infill. And honestly, the time difference wasn't that much. So pretty straightforward. So if you want to follow along modeling this part, we're going to go ahead, and the next video that comes up on the channel after this, we'll go through the process where we model the base part for this. And if you want to follow along, and make sure you subscribe and get all the notifications, all that good stuff. And if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see, please leave a comment. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.